Alpine has just confirmed a fully French lineup from 2023 onwards. Having a French brand with a double French lineup, what could possibly go wrong? Well, it's well known that they aren't really the best of friends outside of the field. That is why the team is forced to take safety measures when it comes to the relationship between the two Frenchmen. Do you want to know what Alpine has to say about this matter? Stick around to the end to find out. Pierre Gasly has finally been cleared to join a top-performing team like Alpine in this case. After spending almost 10 years as a Red Bull-backed driver and driving only 13 races in the 2019 season for the senior team, Gasly is finally out of the toxic environment that surrounded him in the garage. Nevertheless, the Frenchman is ready to prove that he can do it all in Alpine, and rest assured that he can be a boost to Alpine's hopes of returning to the podium finishes and competing with the top dogs. Gasly has been really phenomenal throughout the 2020 and 2021 seasons with AlphaTauri, scoring his maiden win in Monza in 2020 and being the main facilitator for the team's success in these 2 years. Still, it wasn't enough for Red Bull to take him back, and now that they've found a replacement in Nick de Vries, they've decided to let him go. But the environment that Gasly will visit from 2023 and beyond may be a toxic one again, given the fact that he and Esteban Ocon aren't really the best of friends. This is why Alpine has taken precautionary measures, as they've limited the amount of time their families can visit race weekends. Apart from Ocon and Gasly, it seems like their families aren't in the best of relationships either, and that is something that the team will have to address if their sons are going to race for the same team, which they are. According to Joe Soward, a renowned F1 journalist, this is what Alpine is planning to do. I am told that in an effort to keep friction to a minimum, both drivers have been informed that they can have family at 1-2 events a year, and that the two families cannot attend the same races. Some nerve to this, huh? But who could blame them? They have finally achieved what they wanted to with their all-French lineup, but at what cost? It seems like they would have to sacrifice a lot when it comes to this, but what does Ocon have to say about Gasly being his teammate? I mean, we started go-karting together, that's pretty crazy. I have a lot of fantastic memories obviously with Pierre when we were kids. And you know, we lost ourselves a little bit. He was doing different championships, he went to Japan, I was staying in Europe, different teams, different times, but I think it would be great to collaborate together. It's not only myself now from Normandy, we all three are from Normandy, me, Pierre and the brand. So if we can bring that team to the top and make Normandy win, that would be something special. I think there are some great things that we can create there. The minimum is for us to do a perfect job obviously for a team and work well together. But I'm sure everything will be good. You always want to beat your teammate when you're in F1. It's the same rivalry that you have with any teammate, because there's no French championship, there is no French-Spanish championship, so all good. Ocon obviously has a high opinion of his future colleague, but the fact that they aren't very good friends and their families aren't really supportive of each other could bring out some very spicy conversations in the garage. This is probably why Alpine wants to prohibit the presence of both families at the same time in the garage, because the last thing they would want to have is a situation where they would have to fight with drama and scandals rather than fight for podium finishes. Many have started to speculate about the number one position on the team, something that Ocon has enjoyed until this point of his career in Alpine. Still, if you compare Ocon and Gasly's careers, you'll notice that they have very similar stats, and the fact that Gasly drove underperforming machinery throughout his career, not mentioning the 13 races he had in Red Bull in 2019, is something that makes you wonder whether he'll be able to dominate in Alpine. When asked about this, Ocon had a very diplomatic answer, as he added, "It's not something that I really focus on too much. The important thing for me is to keep the job I'm doing, the development, the new floor that we brought in Singapore. I'm also the leader of that coming." Fernando also gave his thoughts, I gave my thoughts, and it's the work together that we bring that makes the important thing. For sure, I will have the most experience, I know how the car works, but it's important for the team to get Pierre up to speed very quickly. Gasly has also spoken about the Ocon situation in an interview in 2018, saying that although they haven't been arguing or fighting, the relationship with his fellow countrymen has strained away because of an accident in their karting days. This is something that they both need to address if they want to succeed in Alpine, now that both of them have a chance with the car that the team is going to provide to them from 2023 and beyond. When talking about the relationship with Ocon and why it's not very good at the moment, Gasly said, "The relationship unfortunately got a lot worse at some point in karting. When we started to fight for the World Cup, European Championship and also National Championship. And I really remember one weekend, the World Cup in 2010 in Portugal, that he literally cut the track, one corner, cutting the grass and hit me in the last heat before the pre-final because I was going to start, I think, second or third. And I think he didn't really like it, said GASLY. He, Ocon, used to come to my house many times and same for myself. We went to his place. I even remember times that in the winter, there was nobody coming to our racetrack. We were the only ones there, snowing like hell, and we were going for like 3 or 4 laps, coming back when our hands were completely freezing, and going back of the truck with the heater just to get warm for 15 minutes, and then after getting back on track for 5 other laps with the slick tires on and just driving on the snow. But what is the good thing out of this? The fact that GASLY was able to address the conflict as a growing factor in both of their careers is something that is going to cheer up the Alpine fans, as they are more than happy to see 2 competitive drivers on the same team. Of course, the last thing that Alpine would want to have in their garage is another Mercedes 2016. Although they won the championship, the chemistry in the team has been at the lowest point possible. GASLY spoke about where he and Ocon currently are in their careers and how the conflict affected their personal growth, adding, "I think in the end it was a positive thing that these things happened to us because it really pushed us so much harder to beat each other. And in the end, it's quite funny to see both of us now in Formula 1, looking at where we started and with our track, not much money, going to take the tires at the back of the garage from all the guys. Just to see the way we grew and where we are now, it's just fantastic. So I think we really respect each other as a driver, but unfortunately, there is not the feeling that we had in the past, which was much more friendly." When Ocon was asked about who he would prefer to be his teammate, he said that he's a very close friend with Mick Schumacher, and obviously, he would be the first guy if the team asked him. Still, this wasn't something that the team was planning, and GASLY is a much more proven driver than Schumacher, and he has a much better record compared to the German driver. The French team is indeed taking a risk by putting 2 drivers that aren't getting along in the same team, and the fact that they are taking some measured precautions points out that there could be trouble in paradise with both these drivers. Still, this is something that Alpine is willing to work on, and we could see a very good lineup from 2023 and beyond. What do you think is next for Alpine? Let us know in the comments below.